Good evening, Habs fans. Welcome to the Habs Tonight post-game show with Marco, Damon, and myself. The Habs unfortunately fall 5-2 against the Washington Capitals, but it was a good game. It was actually a good game. We didn't get stomped tonight. The boys fought for maybe like a period and a half, let's say. But boys, the big storyline here is the new coach, obviously. Martin St. Louis making his coaching debut tonight. What did you guys think? Marco, let's start with you.
Well, obviously, I think there's a lot of talk going into this. A lot of people weren't even expecting St. Louis to get right up on the bench, behind the
Yeah.
bench tonight, because I mean, he was just appointed as head coach yesterday. Maybe you would have observed with Hughes and Gordon's stance for the first game, but he got in it right away, and he said that he was a guy who's always looking to take that next step, to take on that next challenge. And I mean, you could say he was kind of thrown into the fire right away, but I feel like this is something that he was really craving, that he wanted to do, and was a challenge that he was able to take. And I thought first game he did a pretty well job, all things considered. We'll touch up on the nitty-gritty of those points later. But yeah, what did you think, Damon?
Yeah, I really liked it tonight. Marty St. Louis was definitely a coach who definitely got very well along with his players and kind of got personal with them. I noticed throughout the game because he was going over certain things with the players such as Caulfield, Paling, Primo. After he pulled Primo, he just gave him a stick tap and let him know it's okay. But I'm really happy with what Marty did today. And I remember Dale said it today on Twitter that he's happy with the new blood, and so am I, because we've seen so many coaches in this league get recycled, and Marty's completely new blood, and I'm really happy that we have new blood, and especially having it being Marty, who can really benefit players such as Brendan Gallagher, Cole Caulfield, who are shorter players, but they're definitely going to make a good impact in this league, because I'm sure we all know Cole Caulfield got on the board today. It was amazing to see him do that, and both times he got on the board this season, it was against Washington.
Yeah. What a day to wear this shirt. And for those of you watching, you can get one at habstonight.net. So make sure to do that because he's going to get a lot more judging by this game. You know, in our hearts, he had two. And that was a strange play, you know, by Toffoli slapping the puck in the air. You know, I don't know. It's not like you can base yourself off of certain situations because I've actually never seen that happen before. So I don't know how the call was made. But I guess it's offside. I don't know. We won't get into that debate tonight. But the fact of the matter is that Cole played fantastic. He only had 13 minutes of ice time, but you know, 2 goals. Let's say 2 goals, right? He finished with 2 shots on goal. You know, he played 4 minutes on the power play. He really he showed some confidence tonight, boys. So what did you think of Cole's game tonight?
You could tell that right after, when there's little bits there, you saw St. Louis talking up close with the players into their ears, giving them some good positive reinforcement. And then the team just kind of looked to take a new form right after with a lot more energy. And I think you saw this when he talked to especially Cole. You saw him, he was getting much more involved in plays. He just looked more comfortable on the ice. And he was, I don't know, we've seen him try to take some chances in the season, or he would lose the puck, let's say, but he seemed a lot more confident with it. He would try the same moves, but he would execute them. I don't know whether it was something that St. Louis told him, little bits from one all-star player to hopefully a potential other one. But no, I definitely think that St. Louis had some part to do with Cole's success tonight. He had a goal, and in his hearts, he had 2. He should have 2. It would have been nice, but no, yeah, I thought he was really flying out there. It was really good for us to see too, because he's really struggled this season, or he hasn't had the season we would have liked. Obviously, the lineups have been mixed up so much. It's hard to get chemistry going at all, which is something that St. Louis also addressed in his press conference he wanted to establish more team chemistry and identity as a group. But I just saw a lot more fluidity overall tonight to within the team, which so there's a lot of positives to draw from this. Cole's play, Picklick too had a really good game. Evans too, as usual. Romanov. There's so many things that go on about. What do you think, Damon?
Yeah, I definitely think it was a good thing with Caulfield, for example, throughout this game. I don't want to jump the gun or anything here, but I noticed as he was making a lot of plays that he made during the Stanley Cup playoffs, for example, whenever he'd just carry the puck between 3 or 4 guys at once and get a good scoring chance, get a shot off and create a good scoring chance. I noticed that he's doing that a lot more than under Dom. He wouldn't really have the ability to do that under his system, but with San Luis saying in his press conference, reads are what's important, and Cole Caulfield read the play and he could make that play. And that really helped Cole Caulfield tonight. And I was really happy that he was able to put the puck in the back of the net and continue to playing based on his good reads, because he does have a good hockey IQ, in my opinion. And it was just amazing to see him play this way today. And Marty St. Louis is definitely going to be a good influence under him.
That's it. I mean, first period aside, I think the boys really had some I don't know how to put this, heart, right? They had some drive. They win puck battles and they were involved in every situation. I mean, 44 shots on goal tonight is actually a season record. We haven't had this many shots in a game all season long. And we almost doubled Washington's shot total, which was pretty impressive. I mean, and looking at the stat sheet, the only guy who didn't have a shot on goal was Kulak tonight, which means that everybody else contributed to the offense, which is fun to see. And, you know, all season long, what kept my attention is the ice time for the defensemen. I thought that it was very skewed. You know, Petrie and Sherratt were taking most of the workload. And tonight I'm seeing mostly distributed, right? Romanov was the most used defenseman with 22 minutes of ice time. And then it goes with Sherratt at 21 and Petrie at 19, right? So I see that already Marty and Luke are starting to spread out the workload for the defensemen, and I really appreciate that. I thought it made a big difference because we saw Washington only had 23 shots or 23 shots on goal tonight, which is huge because I don't remember the last time we let in less than 30 shots in a game. Like that's pretty big, eh?
Yeah, no, it was a real dominating performance. And I don't know when was the last time we've seen the Habs really dominate this much, besides obviously the game against Dallas, but that was even a lot tighter on the shots front too. So, I mean, obviously, I feel like, and I hate to throw him under the bus, but I feel like if it wasn't for Primo's, let's say, underperforming game today, we could have had a better chance. Maybe could have gotten a win, but I mean, listen, I'm a goalie. I understand more than anybody how tough this situation could be, and obviously, you don't have your games here and there. And Primo's been fortunate; he's gotten a lot of opportunities, but I don't think he's quite at NHL ready. I think this is something that Pierre LeBrun also talked about, potentially bringing in somebody with more NHL experience to kind of lead the group and kind of fill in when Allen's not there, to kind of just give them a security blanket in between the pipes, because Montembeault has been good when he's been healthy. Tonight, he was kind of a backup there. I don't think he was 100% to be thrown into the fire right away, but Primo just doesn't seem NHL ready, in my opinion. I think he really needs to continue his development in Laval. And I hope that, I don't know, I wouldn't be opposed to this move if you were to bring in somebody like, let's say, Pierre O'Brien was talking about Khudobin, who was on waivers, just somebody with experience that you can rely on. Because when you get into games like this, like against Washington tonight, if we would have had somebody like him, I feel like we would have had a much better chance, even if we would have had Montembeault the whole game. But yeah, I mean, it's a tricky situation. We'll see what St. Louis, Gordon, Hughes all have planned for this. But yeah, what do you guys think about that?
I definitely agree. I definitely think that the key is for Primo. As I'm sure we know in Laval, they're doing pretty well there regarding all the injuries. They have a pretty good deep team, which is good for our future. And I definitely think if we could send down Primo and get a healthy goalie, let's say if McNiven could return, I could also like McNiven maybe as a backup, or if we could also get, let's say, Khudobin, or if we could sign a guy in the market that's available, let's say Dubnyk, and then we could have them take care of the net while Allen and Price are out, and then have Primo take care of the AHL part of it, and Laval could easily be a very dangerous team in the playoffs. So I definitely think that it's key to get Primo back down there, because unfortunately he isn't NHL ready. But I have liked Primo, seeing him in certain NHL games. I find that you can't give him too many at once, but when you give him a couple games, I find he's been fine. For example, I was a big fan of him in his NHL debut against Colorado in the 3-2 loss. He played against the best team in the league that season, and yeah, he played really well. He only allowed 3 goals, but a couple of those goals were defensive errors in his first game. But I find it's getting to the point where you're just constantly relying on him night in, night out, night in, night out, and he's still too young for it. I'm pretty sure he's only 22, so he needs to get that AHL experience. And goalies usually do hit their prime, or maybe around 26 and then after. So he definitely needs to go back to the AHL.
No doubt. I mean, I don't think there's any question there that he really shouldn't be with the Habs right now, but we're kind of in a don't have a choice type of situation where I think the number one goalie in Laval is Kevin Poulin. Correct me if I'm wrong, but like he's Trois-Rivières goalie usually, right? So do we bring him up to the Habs? I mean, there's got to be a limit at some point. So as soon as McNiven's back, I feel like Primo's going down, and then we have to explore the possibility of also sending McNiven back with Primo and maybe getting a goalie on the market. That's a possibility. And it was talked about actually during the St. Louis pressers today, that Hughes and Gorton might look into it, or did look into it, whatever. But that's to be seen. One guy that stood out, obviously, I think the best player tonight, our best player on the team, Mr. Nick Suzuki, was phenomenal. 23 minutes of ice time, 1 assist, 6 shots, 2 hits, 1 block. This guy does it all. 55% on the face-off circle. What a beauty. What did you guys think of his game?
I mean, I think Suzuki's really, well, he's our all-star. He's somebody who performs night in, night out. I mean, we don't even really need to talk about it. He's just there whenever we need him to be. He's our most consistent player, in my opinion. And he demonstrated that tonight as well. And his play just gives the opportunity for so many other guys like Caulfield to flourish. So I feel like once the group just has a collective confidence among them, someone like Suzuki, who performs night in, night out consistently, will just really be a huge, he'll play a huge role in letting these guys really become the best players they could be. And I also thought Josh Anderson too had a really nice game. He had a nice setup on I believe it was Pitlick's goal. So seeing him getting on the action was really good. Even getting up in personal with Wilson too. He kept him in check the whole game. He had a relatively quiet game before that empty net goal. So I mean, it's good to see as always. And there's one quote that after the post game there that I want to touch up on. Petrie said that it was fun to be part of the game and that everybody in the group worked hard. And I think this is something that's really relieving to see from someone, especially like Petrie, who we've seen him kind of throw the team under a bus this season. And he's straight up addressed his discomfort, or not his discomfort, but his lack of enjoyment, I guess, with the way things have been going. So just to see this automatic change in mentality, especially from someone like Petrie, who could lead a group of guys when things are going well. And this is just one of the other positive aspects that St. Louis directly brought into the team right away. I don't think any of us were expecting the Habs to win the first game with St. Louis behind the bench, but this is one thing that really speaks volumes that you don't see on the score line.
And that's it.
I agree. Like, I didn't know what to expect this game because it was definitely his coaching debut, at least at a highly competitive level. As I'm sure we know, he was a Pee Wee coach, but yeah, but to going straight from Pee Wee over to the NHL is very much a big jump. So I really liked what he. Yeah, it's definitely quite that jump. So it was pretty good to see that the team got really loose under him and just played such a fun game. And I'm really happy also that Jeff Petrie seemed to be having fun, because this entire season he hasn't been having fun. And as I'm sure we know about his family situation, we understand like everything, like it's pretty hard on Petrie, like having your family away from you for that long of a time. And also, Josh Anderson, I'm really happy with what he said after the game. He said everyone was involved today, which was very much true. Everyone worked hard. Everyone played their game. And Anderson just revealed something interesting in my opinion. He said after Dom got fired, apparently he woke up from a nap and his dad gave him a call.
That's pretty funny. Yeah, what a way to learn. But no, I mean, for St. Louis' first game, I think this is a complete win. Now, looking at the lineup itself, obviously we didn't expect many changes because he doesn't know the guys. He doesn't know what to do, how to place them, whatever. Just
Right.
needs some more time to get to know them on the ice and whatnot. But tonight was the return of Rem Pitlick, who was scratched for absolutely no reason last game. That blew my mind. And tonight, obviously, he scored because he's good. But another guy that was scratched last game and tonight as well is the Pez dispenser, Michael Pezzetta. A lot of people scratching their heads. I know, Marco, you didn't like that decision, but just asking you guys, who would you move around the lineup if you would put Pezzetta in? Who would you take out? Are the lines good? What do you guys think?
I mean, I think Armia would be my vote. I mean, I know he had a much better game tonight. Just like everybody else, everybody was involved tonight. I feel like there's a lot more fluidity amongst the guys, but overall this season he hasn't been consistent at all. And the last season, it's a huge downgrade from the way he's played last season. And just looking at this, it kind of questions his role on the team, whether he's best in the AHL, whether he should stay with the Habs. So and I feel like when you compare him to someone like Pizzetta, who's just game in, game out, shown that he wants to play for the logo and he will give his all for the team. Like you guys know I'm high on Pizzetta. He's one of my favorite young guys to have emerged this season. I'm so fortunate to have gotten the opportunity to watch him play. But yeah, I mean, when you compare his play to someone like Armia, who's been struggling, I think it's no doubt in my mind that you should give him the opportunity over someone like him, or even if it's not Armia, just get Pez in the lineup. I mean, it's got to be done. Pitlick being scratched makes no sense, but I don't think we'll be seeing that under St. Louis. So yeah, I mean, that's what I think about that. What do you think, Damon? Who would you move around?
Yeah, I would. For me, there's kind of two players I have that I would personally take out of the lineup for a game or two. The two guys that I would take out, Armia is the kind of my first choice, but the thing is, Armia played a lot better today, in my opinion, and he drew some penalties. He worked hard, and he reminded me a bit of the playoff Armia that was good on the fourth line with Stahl and why am I blanking here? Oh my gosh.
Perry.
Oh yeah, Perry. Yeah, that
Yeah.
was an iconic fourth line. Yeah, I miss
That was
Perry. Like he played like
We all
that,
do.
like he was on that line and tonight. And my other guy who I'd possibly scratch, and I'm probably gonna get crap for this, but Mike Hoffman. I find Hoffman has not been playing up to his contract, and he hasn't worked as hard, in my opinion, as Pizzetta has been to get into the lineup. Pizzetta has been doing whatever it takes to win games, and Hoffman, in my opinion, I found so far this season has kind of just been waiting for the puck to get to him, and then he'll release it. But defensively, he doesn't do very much, but the Pez dispenser does so much more defensively.
That's it. Yeah, Hoffman's been a bit underwhelming even tonight. I mean, he still had quite a bit of ice time, 16 minutes. Finished -2 with one shot, which is terrible because that's what we're paying him for, right? We're paying him to shoot on the net.
Yeah.
So that would be a good pick. But another interesting guy who we haven't really talked much about since he's been back is Paul Byron. Again, tonight he played 11 minutes, so not a big workload, right? He's still kind of getting back into it, but still 4 shots, 2 hits, 2 takeaways. He kind of struggled on the face-off circle, but he's a winger. I'm not sure why he was on center.
He can
Would
play
you guys?
center as well.
Yeah, he can, but
Yeah.
I'd much rather have him on the wing. But what do you guys think of Paulie B tonight and since he came back recently?
I mean, I think since he's been back he's someone who's really been itching to get back in the lineup. And you could tell when he's on the ice, he gives it his all. You could tell his utility really, what separates him from the rest is his speed. And you just see him fly down the ice every single game. We saw it again tonight. And he was even winning draws at center, which isn't even his main position. So it just shows you also the versatility that he brings to the team. So, and he's obviously a guy who could lead a group too. He's an alternate captain. So, I mean, I think he has a really big role on our team, and he had a good game tonight. And I feel like slowly, like you said, Shane, he's getting back into the groove of things, getting back into the rhythm there. But I feel like every game we've been seeing from him, we've been seeing a little bit better each time. And I feel like under St. Louis too, we'll see more freedom from him, much like the other guys too. I mean, we were talking about Hoffman right before. It was a bit of a hot take, but I think I agree with you guys there. I mean, he's been underwhelming this season, and he's someone, just you look at the caliber player that he is, you wouldn't even consider scratching a guy like that. But I feel like he could have potentially been a victim of being too boxed in by Ducharme's system, and maybe potentially under St. Louis now, he might have more freedom and to do what he's made to do, what he's best at. So I hope in his case that we'll see better things coming from Hoffman. But yeah, going back to Byron, I mean, we're seeing game in, game out, the type of intensity that he brings, and he wants to play for the logo, and that's all we could really ask at this point from anybody in the group.
Agreed. Yeah.
I'm a big fan of Paul Byron. Like, he played junior hockey 5 minutes away from my house, and he's definitely someone who's always worked hard in his career. And I remember when he was placed on waivers, he was expecting to clear waivers, I remember he said, but ever since he came to Montreal, he fit right into the system in Montreal. And then two-time 20-goal scorer, would have been 3, but of course, as we remember, Mackenzie Weegar threw that hit on him, and yeah, but I really liked his game tonight. He worked hard. He played really well with Galley, in my opinion, and he also, I'd like to see him shoot the puck more. That was the also thing I found with Paul Byron. I found that he didn't release the puck as much, but I'd love to see him just getting behind the defense and then just chip it to get it to him for a breakaway, and then we can go back to his my favorite nickname for him, Breakaway Byron.
Fantastic, so fitting, and another guy that kind of came out, I saw tonight a lot of is Ryan Poehling, and it's funny to say that I saw a lot of him because he only played 10 minutes, but the craziest stat is he was 100% on the faceoff circle. This guy did not lose a single faceoff tonight, which is huge because this team has struggled so much with faceoffs. So if he can be that guy that we can rely on for years to come, that's massive. But I mean, overall, I thought he had a great game. 3 shots, 1 hit. Obviously 100% on the faceoffs. What did you guys think? And what would you do with Ryan Poehling in the future? Do you send him back to Laval? What's the move with him?
I feel like Poehling's been one of the guys that, out of the young guys who have gotten their chance to prove themselves this season with the mess that we've been seeing unravel before our eyes, I feel like he's really been a standout, and we see the intensity that he brings, and he's a quality player. And when given the chance, he performs. He may not have gotten a lot of minutes tonight, but just the fact that we're able to notice him from these few minutes just shows what he contributes on the ice. And it's quality over quantity, right? Sometimes. So, I mean, Poehling's definitely one of the guys who has really impressed me this season. I would definitely want to see him next season as someone to be a consistent part of the team, whether it be third or fourth line, juggling between Evans, or maybe have them both play on the same line. We've seen it this season, and I think that it's been good. I feel like those guys are a good fit from one another, but I mean, whether or not you decide to let him develop more in Laval is a different decision, but I mean, I don't think you should replace him with, let's say, someone like Dauphin, for example, who's taken his spot a lot this season. I feel like Poehling's really earned it a lot with a lot of the other young guys like Pizzetta we were just talking about. And I feel like he really just deserves to be in that lineup. And next season, I hope he'll be one of the guys who will be a consistent third or fourth liner for us.
Yeah. I really like Poehling tonight. I know that he was only on the ice for 10 minutes, but him and Caulfield have played really well together. And the other thing that I really liked with Poehling is the fact that he worked hard, especially with Cole Caulfield. And I do notice that him and Caulfield have a very good chemistry, because I do know typically through at the start of the season it was Suzuki, Caulfield, and then those two typically looked for each other on the ice instead of trying to pass it to Foley. But ever since we moved Caulfield with Poehling, I feel that those two have been able to develop good chemistry with their new line mates. And Ryan Poehling, right now, what I would do with him is I'd keep him in the NHL, because he's been working hard and he's been playing them better than a lot of the other centers, such as Laurent Dauphin. In my opinion, he's been better than Dvorak right now. But I'd also Cedric Paquette. I don't know if he clears waivers. Paquette, if we end up putting him on, he could be in the AHL. But the thing is, Ryan Poehling's waiver exempt, and I kind of have to, in my opinion, that question whether I'd send him back to Laval, it kind of comes closer to the time of the playoffs of the AHL, since Laval's looking like they're going to be a team that's going to be in it. And if we do end up being in it, we obviously kind of have to send him back down since he's waiver exempt. But if it's towards the end of this season and Laval's in a game that they have to desperately fight for 2 points to clinch a playoff spot, I'm sending him and Caulfield back down in a heartbeat. I'm just saying, you know what, like, you guys, you need to help Laval get into the playoffs up here. It's kind of a lost cause, and we want you guys to have a chance at a Calder Cup. So that's how I would approach the situation with those two.
No doubt. It's a great experience. I mean, if we remember, Carey Price won the Calder Cup with the Hamilton Bulldogs, I believe it was, or was it the Ice Caps? I forget the
Bulldogs.
affiliate. Yeah, I think it was the Bulldogs, but I mean, our affiliates were changing all the time in that time. But yeah, no, definitely like those two guys and even Primo could have a really nice experience in the playoffs and hopefully, have a chance at the Calder Cup here. I just want to give a quick shout out to Samuel Montembeault, who came in for Kid Primo a little after, a little before midway mark of the second period. He went 100%, didn't let in a goal, and he's a bit injured with his wrist, I believe. So I thought he played really well and kept us in it, even though he only had 7 shots, I believe, on him. And we're called Habs tonight, but we can respect the other team. So shout out to Joe Snavelli, who scored his first and second goal in the NHL against us, which does happen a lot, unfortunately, but props to him. Congratulations. Those were some nice goals, especially that second one. That was pretty dirty.
Was he the one who scored on Petrie like later towards in the second period there before Primo got pulled?
I believe, yes.
Because he made him look absolutely. Okay, he scored the fourth. Yeah, he made Petrie look absolutely silly on that play. It was a nice one, and I'm sure he's buzzing. I mean, we try to preach the Habs as much as we can, but we have to give credit to where credit's due, right? So
exactly.
this guy's earned it for sure.
Exactly. So I mean, I think we've touched on a lot. I don't know if you guys wanted to add any more points about tonight's game.
Yeah, actually, something that I want to add, but isn't exactly about tonight's game. We got to talk about USA China and our guy Sean Farrell.
Oh, yes.
Good point. Wow. 3 goals, 2 assists in his Olympic debut. This guy's playing against men. Obviously, we say it's China, but like still, it's the Olympics.
Yeah.
That's pretty crazy. You got to be excited about that, eh?
Yeah. He also tied the record for most points in a game and from an American player, and it was the last one was 1960. I don't remember who the player was, but yeah, I meant to say 1960, but I don't know if I said 1916 or 1960, but yeah, that was really remarkable. And here's the thing, China's not as bad as people think, because China does have some ex-NHL players. They have Jake Chelios, who's Chris Chelios' son. They have Spencer Fu, who is a former Calgary Flame. Cliff Poo, who was Buffalo Sabres prospect. He was traded for Jeff Skinner. And they have a couple of other ex-NHLers, and they have 10 Canadian dual citizens, 2 Americans. And yeah, China's not just not just like all players from China who play professional hockey, but they're also like dual citizens. So yeah, we got to talk about Sean Farrell, and like that was amazing.
Exciting stuff, man.
Yeah,
I mean, China's definitely no pushover. Whenever you get to the Olympic level, no team's really a pushover. When you see such a young prospect who thankfully is a Montreal Canadiens prospect putting up this kind of performance at the Olympic stage, it's fantastic to see from all of us here. And these guys will be taking on Canada tomorrow too, so that's a game that good to be tuned in for. I know isn't it at like 11 p.m. where you're saying
11 p.m. tonight? Yeah, I mean not tonight, I mean tomorrow night.
Yeah,
freaking time zones, eh? But no, I mean, if not, we'll catch the highlights in the morning, whatever. But that's gonna be an interesting game for sure. Whenever we could talk about Canada or just any Montreal Canadiens prospects, we try to do that here. So that's something to keep an eye on, I think, for sure.
Definitely. He's a bit of an under the radar prospect. I believe he's playing in Harvard University. Correct me if I'm wrong. But he's tearing it up out there. I mean, we don't really hear about him, but when we do, it's like, oh yeah, he scored a hat trick. Oh yeah, he scored 2 goals. It's like, okay, well, I can tell he's pretty damn good. And we got him pretty late in the draft too, I believe, because of his size. Round. That's it. So that's quite the pickup. Thank you, Trevor Timmons, for your parting gift. We're still looking forward to our new head recruiter here. Maybe, we still got an assistant GM and a head recruiter to be hired. There were talks about Vincent Cavalier that went to the shitter pretty quickly, but hey, one can still hope. You're right, Marco. One can still hope. Anything can happen.
Who knows? If he gets signed, I have to go to the Ilbazar rink where I used to play the Vincent de Cavalier Arena. I got to do a nice little victory lap around there or something. I would have loved to see that, him and St. Louis back in there. I mean, who would not love to see it? And this was something that was talked about by so many reporters. It looked like it was a real possibility, but then Vincent himself, I believe, shut down the rumors. But
yeah, he did.
You never know in the industry. Who knows? Maybe he's just teasing us a little bit. Maybe it's full of surprises sometimes. I mean, let's not be too hopeful about the situation, but it's good to hope sometimes, you know.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. You know, we play Saturday against Columbus and then Sunday again against Buffalo. Those are afternoon games. Thanks a lot, Super Bowl. But those I feel are games that could give a better indication as to what this team really looks like, and gives a chance for Dom. Sorry, I say Dom. My God, I'm gonna have to get used to Marty. It gives a chance to Marty to try some things, because let's be honest, it's Columbus and Buffalo, right? It's no Washington. Even though Washington wasn't, fantastic tonight, they didn't have Ovi. Columbus and Buffalo are low, like, kind of bottom feeders. So I'm excited for those games. At the same time, right, we want to maintain the tank, right? It's like the season's too far gone to want to start winning, but like we want good games. So if the rest of the season can be like tonight, you know what? There's no complaints for me. Eh?
That's right.
Yeah, I just want to say we're competing with Arizona in the tank. And do you want to know who's starting to really put up points for Arizona? Alex Galchenyuk. Yeah, he's really helping us out with that. He really ever since I put him on the top line with Keller and Schmaltz, man, he's been good. And I'm going to throw a hot take at you guys. He's going to get traded back to Toronto. I just have that feeling.
Oh, wow.
Would not surprise me one bit. Toronto, whenever they could get somebody who's hot or just a veteran guy to kind of elongate their playoff hopes or their runs, they'll do it. So, I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if they get Galchenyuk, who previously played for them, to come back. We'll stay tuned there. I mean, we appreciate him putting up points for Arizona. Like you said, puts us a little bit ahead in the race for Shane Wright. But yeah, I mean, besides that too, just seeing Galchenyuk, a former Hab, do well, any former Hab who does well, even when Fukale got his shutout, first career shutout, we're happy for him. Like we should be with any former Habs players. That leaves on a good note. So yeah.
That's right. Good points. Good points. Habs tonight is a long family, and time is doesn't matter, right? So any guy that played on the Habs, we still love them for the most part. Anything you guys would like to add for tonight's game or the games to come?
I know this isn't Habs related, but just a early one just before the Super Bowl. Who's gonna win it?
I mean, I'm someone who likes to go for the underdog, so I hope the Bengals would win. But I mean, the Rams are kind of a wagon this season. If the Bengals do win, that'll be a hell of a feat. That'll be really impressive on their part. And I know my dad has him in a bet for his fantasy league, so I know who he'll be going for. But yeah, I mean, plus Joe Burrow is just such a cool guy. I would love to see him get a Super Bowl ring, but at the same time, Matt Stafford also deserves it. So, I mean, I wouldn't be upset with any sort of outcome. I think the Rams will win, but I'm hoping for the Bengals.
Yeah, I know nothing about football. I'm sorry. I'll just go with whatever Marco says. Let's go Bengals. I don't know. Let's go basketball here. I really don't care about football, but hey, I'll be eating some nachos, so that's all that matters,
Pretty much just sit there and just wait for the commercials. I talked to her entirely during the game, and then whenever a Marvel or Star Wars or a new movie that I'm excited for, a new trailer comes out, I'm like, everyone quiet. We got to watch this.
That's it. That's the best part about Super Bowl for me too. Yeah, halftime show too. Yeah.
Yeah, and then we would check them out too back when we were in college together, Shane. We would check them out the next following day for our business classes, be like, okay, how was this advertising done in this commercial?
Yeah, the teachers love that for sure. But I mean, I think that about wraps it up for tonight's game. Again, the Habs fall 5-2 to the Washington Capitals. The score does not reflect the game whatsoever. We had a really good game finally, and we weren't stomped. There's no 7-1. There's no 8-2, whatever. So mostly positives tonight. Looking forward to Saturday's game. And if you haven't yet, please hit the subscribe button, hit the like, help the algorithm, help us out. We truly love doing this for you guys, and we love the support. So again, thank you all, and thank you guys for jumping on tonight. Appreciate it. Take care, everybody.
Pleasure.
Take care.
Ciao, guys.